We're
Oh,
live.
we are. Goodness.
So,
Hello, world.
welcome everyone to another interview on Music Matters with Ev. And I am so pleased to say, Phil, Garvey is with us. And I just want to tell you, Phil, I always think of you as the Shakespeare of folk music.
I'm honoured that you say that. I'm not sure I can
Definitely,
in any way justify it, but it's very kind of you.
definitely. Okay, so without any further ado, Phil, tell us about yourself.
Oh, thanks, Ed. Yeah, I've been playing music since goodness only knows when. Um, Probably about 40 years, to be honest. I I always wanted to be a writer more than anything. More than the music. In fact, long before the music, I always wanted to write, and I used to try and write novels and things, even when I was at school. And I have to confess, I wasn't that good at it. But I had good snippets. I saw it very visually, like you watch a TV program or something, and there were scenes, which are very clear visual scenes. And I used to write like that. But when I tried to write something bigger, like a novel, you could see the glue. So the scenes were good, but the bits in between weren't. They were rubbish. So after a while, I started thinking, well, if I can write short things that work, that's either going to be songs or poems. Well, if I'm writing poems in those days, poetry is more of it's got something of a cult following now, but it didn't have then. So I thought that's not going to get me anywhere. But if I write songs, then I might actually do something. I might be able to do something reasonable. Said my naive 16-year-old self. So I tried writing songs. But of course, to do that, I had to actually learn to play something. So I came to it that way around. I'd always been interested in music, but perhaps slightly before my time. When I was very young, my sister's a lot older than me, so when I was very young, I was listening to all sorts of 60s stuff, and that stayed in my head. And so I started coming up with these song ideas, but I didn't have any structure to work in. They were just tunes, some lines, and they had a tune to them, a natural rhythm. I stuck them together and made a song out of it. And it took the very first song I ever wrote took me 5 years to work out how to play it because it actually has 19 chords and 2 key changes. I had no idea what I was doing. I wasn't struggling with 3 chords. And the weirdest thing of all is the key changes go down. You never hear the thing with the chord that key changes go down. But that was my first ever song. It's I still don't play it very often, probably.
5 years in the making. Wow.
Yeah. Well, no, I wrote it very quickly, but it took me that long to learn how to do it. It was the tunes. How do I play that? That's not that right chord. What's that? It's got all kinds of jazz chords and things in it, because it's the only chord I could find eventually that fitted what I wanted it to sound like. But I had no idea what I was doing.
Okay, so that's your beginning
Yeah.
into songwriting and music performance.
Yeah. I got into. Well, I met a chap who was into folk clubs and things, and he sort of dragged me along to some folk clubs. And it wasn't really my thing. I mean, I don't consider myself a folkie. I've got some, very folky friends who are brilliant musicians. But that environment was okay. They kind of tolerated me, but I wasn't what they wanted. They're quite strict on what they like in those kind of clubs, particularly this area. I live sort of nearer to London, really, but the folk scene there is quite traditional. And they do tend to like people with fingers in their ears and, do sort of 45 verse ballads about seafarers and things like that, which isn't really so they're always going along doing my sort of proto folk pop rock songs and not going down very well. But I played that for a while, and I did manage to get a band together in the early 90s with a friend from Oxford. We rehearsed every week for 4 years, and we played 4 gigs because we didn't know anyone who could book us. But we had fun, and I think I always needed a band. Really, my songs are designed to have that kind of sound behind them. but it took me another 20 years to get another band together, and they only lasted 4 years and broke up. So I'm paid to play solo for the rest of my life, really.
All right. So before this year, before 2020, what was your output like? What was your creative output like?
In terms of writing, I suppose I've done a lot of stuff, sort of a lot of back catalogue stuff, and it's taken me a long time to get to a point now where I don't write enough now. I would like to write more, but I've got a load of stuff that nobody's heard that's been hanging around for 30 years. So I keep digging that out and reusing it. Maybe one day. I think you get more inspiration when you're younger. That's my feeling, and certainly I've noticed that in other people when I've spoken to them about music and shared, their feelings about things. But I was playing a lot in the last few years. I've done shed loads of open mics. I found that was kind of once the open mic circuit started, which was around about the turn of the century. Before then, if you didn't have a band, it was folk clubs or nothing. But then there were these open mics started springing up, and they were really the best kind of venues for me. And I've been lucky in finding different ones, different parts of the country, where there are audiences that like what I want to play, and other musicians that I like to want to listen to. Where I actually live, there isn't a lot that I can relate to well. There are certain areas where you've got a really good music scene, particularly ones I've found I really love going back to are Bristol, your very good self, and other people down there. Well, it's true, it's a fantastic place to play. Oxford, Canterbury, fantastic music down in Kent, and then there's some on the south coast, and particularly sort of West Somerset and Devon. I've played loads of places in and around Devon. There's some down the far end of Cornwall as well. So that tends to be where I go. I've gone north occasionally. I do tend to travel all over the place, but the furthest north I've played and really enjoyed was York. There's a fantastic scene in York. And funnily enough, I bumped into a guy in a pub in York. No, Mike there. Tiny room, absolutely heaving. About 30 people crammed into this room. Wouldn't be allowed now. That's very closed now. But there was a guy I just happened to be squeezed up against the bar with, and he played ukulele and did some quite satirical songs and things. And it turns out he's from Guildford, which is about 10 miles away from where I live. I actually work in Guildford when we're allowed to. And he's a really good musician. I didn't know him before, but he knew people I knew, and we've got to be good friends since then. So that's Chrisnevart. He's an amazing character.
On the point of open mics and bands, etc., did you ever take part in what was known as gigs in digs?
I've heard of this, but I've never done it. I've friends of, because sometimes they're filmed, aren't there? There's different groups that do that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's something that you would fit in with quite well, because it's basically performing in someone's house, someone's front room, on invitation, and they then do the extra work of getting you an audience. But the fact that you're in a living room performing to people who are focused on you is quite daunting at first, but then afterwards you kind of relax, and it's the best environment for your type of songs and music, because it's very engaging. I mean, sometimes people are like, I don't know, 2 meters away, even less. And that's the kind of...
Do you think that's the thing with the way I sing?
I was going to say at the introduction, I forgot to mention that in your own words, you're capable of PA destruction.
I am. I have. I've broken 3 PAs and fainted on 3 occasions. That's honestly true.
So, so we're going to come on to how this transpires in a moment. But I just wondered because Gigs and Digs, I think if link is something you should check out because yes, you've got a captive audience and they're so close. It's so intimate, and I'm sure you'd find it rewarding. Anyway, so that was pre 2020. Now this year, Phil.
Yeah.
How has this year affected what you do in terms of your music and anything else, if it has affected?
Saved shed loads in petrol money.
Yes.
It's obviously as challenges. It's been, hard not going out and seeing people and getting to meet my friends all over the country. But in some ways, it's actually been a positive, which sounds strange. But what we've managed to do, a couple of friends started the idea of these online open mics. And so I've picked up on that and started one, which is the Mic Fraternity. And I thought, okay, let's do this. Let's get something where I can invite friends from different music areas, from different scenes that I know and I love, and get them together and get them to experience each other and share that. And that's just grown. I'm really, really pleased. Some weeks we get, 100, 200, 300 viewers. Okay, not every time. We did one, yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yes, it was. Did one yesterday, and there were only about 30 or 35 people watching, but I dare say a lot more people will do it on catch up, because a lot of people do, with using what we're doing, which is using Facebook Live, which so far it seems to have been the best system we could find that had sound quality. Although it's got its glitches, but that tends to be, a third of the audience will see it live. A lot of people will watch the videos afterwards because they're saved forever then. And that's nice. And some people we've had, friends of friends or people I've met who are from overseas, or when I've been overseas, I have people from all over. I've had acts from Nepal and Argentina and
excellent,
Berlin and Spain and it's been absolutely wonderful.
Wow.
Along with my friends from Kent and Devon and Bristol and everywhere, and you need to be on that show.
Thank you. I'm on my way.
Good. That's all I hear. We're gradually getting those ones who've been evading me all this time. There's a lovely lady called Susan, brilliant singer from Maidstone, and I've been trying to persuade her for ages, and she's finally said yes, she'll do it. She's had a few internet problems, but we'll get her on very soon. I'm gradually getting there with her, so I'm hoping I will with you.
Good, excellent. And
but the thing is, then we actually end up with people who've never met one another, who are all brilliant musicians, all beginning to see each other and understand, how much good music there is out there they didn't know about. And I've really been pleased to be able to be part of that. That's meant a lot.
It's reminding us again that necessity is the mother of invention, and the fact that we are almost hooked into what we do musically or creatively. There must be a way to continue, irrespective of what restraint we're under. We've got to continue. So
it's so important to so many people, and I think even more so now. If you can't actually go and see somebody, but you can hear them and sing with them and to them, well, not sing with them because of the lag problem, but that you can sing against somebody else playing online, vice versa. Those are beautiful. Again, with the online mics, we can have people write comments as you go along, to pretend claps and things, and one of the little clap hand symbol. And sometimes you'll get somebody will be doing a song which cries out for gorgeous harmonies, and people will be saying, "I'm singing the harmony now," or they'll be just typing that. But you can imagine it because you know their voices, and it have to imagine the rest of it. But it's lovely. It's
awesome.
It's a unifying experience, and I think we really need that at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, and what do you perceive of the near future?
Well, that's a question, isn't it?
Mm.
It's hard to say what's going to happen. And I could get very political with this one. Because there are multiple threats. Obviously, there's not just COVID, but there's economic issues. There's, dare I say it, potential civil war. We are on the threshold of a very strange time. I am very concerned about what happens in January to the country as a whole. But I think we're in that situation. We have to be wary, cautious, sensitive, and look out for each other, because we can't trust people up above, in terms of politics or anything like that. We've got to look out for ourselves. But in doing that, it's right that we care about each other and our friends too. There is a risk that people will become so insular and self-centered, and they don't understand anything about a broader picture. Whereas, I think we are, and we continue to be, and we are building a community through music. And that's very important that we all hold on to that and understand the value of each other, because that, community level understanding and community level support to one another is going to be essential.
Yep, I hear that, and I do agree. Excellent. So in terms of advice, direct advice, I think you've given a little bit already just then, but in terms of direct advice, I mean, there's many people who in these times, they have picked up a hobby like music or learning an instrument or singing, etc., which they wouldn't have done under normal circumstances. So in terms of advice for anyone really thinking of, opening up their creative elements, if there is any.
Be honest to yourself. If you're going to play something that matters to you. Play it as well as you can and be proud of how well you play it. Don't try and be somebody you're not. Don't try to pander to what you think other people want you to do. Be honest. That's what matters to me. Well, there are people who are going to just, dare I say, do Mustang Sally and things like that. The songs that make me cringe. Sorry for upsetting any feelings there. There are only 10 songs in the world I can't stand.
And that's one of them.
I love pieces, but unfortunately those two are
Woo! Okay. Wasn't expecting that. Okay, so all right,
do what feels good to you, and don't try to over compare all the time. I think if you play and learn and sing, with your heart, that's what really matters. And I, as you know, I've played mics all over the country and so clubs before that for years and years. And what has been really lovely is seeing people come to those clubs for the first time who've never performed on a stage before. And the Newbury, Ace Space in Newbury, that club there, the Newbury Unplugged Club, is really good for this. It is a vast hall. It's a 150-seater hall. And it's quite imposing. And people go there and play the open mic, and they have never performed on stage before.
Wow.
And in a few months, because they do it once a month, in a few months, those people are fantastic. So that's it. They've put themselves out there. They've taken the risk, but it's just fantastic watching them and watching them improve time on time. As a girl, I can think of called Laura Marlowe, tiny little girl, amazing voice, absolutely stunning voice. She can sing the pants off Dusty Springfield. And seriously, and that thing, she'd never performed in public before. Came back and everyone, wow. So yeah, it's seeing people have those opportunities and use them. And one of the loveliest things, most of the people I listen to when I'm playing CDs when I travel around in the car, it's all CDs still for me. They are very largely people I know, people from the open mics and from the circuits that I've played, because I love those songs, and yet they will maybe never be famous, but they should, because those songs are far better than stuff you see in the charts. And I love that. I love seeing people blossom. That almost more than just going and playing myself now. I mean, I'm having to go and play. I love playing, but the clubs I go to, it's as much about seeing other people and what they can achieve. And that really, I think that's one of the reasons why I love doing the open mic circuit so much, because it's not just me going and being me and them being the audience. It's being a part of something. It's an integral thing. It's a shared thing. And I love that.
That's the ethos behind the open mic initiative, definitely. And so now, where can people listen to, get hold of your material?
Well, all my recordings are on Bandcamp. So if you look up Bandcamp and search Phil Garvey, you'll find me. I'll find where the link is and drop it in for you later. So,
okay. Yeah. All right. So here is the fun question.
Okay.
If 2020 were a human being, what would you say to him or her?
Wow. I know a good psychiatrist. Can I refer you?
This is why I call you Shakespeare.
I suppose what went through my head is, yeah, it's been very weird. It's been very weird, but it's not been universally bad. There's been some good bits that have come out of it. So it's just strange.
Oh, that's so cool. All right. Well, we could have ended it there, but I want to share with the any viewers who may see this later. I think we've just got one watching at the moment, which is good, but it's okay. These early days, Phil, you're the third interviewee, so we're slowly building up. I'm just making sure that the quality is there as much as I can make it, and then hopefully that some momentum will build. But I want to give the audience who may watch this later some incentive to go and check out your material on Bandcamp and any of the other live recordings of you performing. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it is so true that Phil Garvey has the awesome ability of stopping the function of a PA system in its tracks.
Well, if you want me to do the warble, what I will do, because my phone is so much better as a microphone than this webcam. So if I go live on that one too, can you stream that? I will have a go at warbling for you.
Where's your guitar?
It's just over there. I've got to.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm worried for my own system right now.
I know you tried to understand me, and I tried to do the same to you. But everywhere I turn, there is confusion. Everything I learn causes confusion. I'd like to think that I could help to make your dreams come true. But it's just I'm so near to dreaming, I can't see what's really you. real to be ethereal, too ethereal to be real. I don't know what I'm supposed to be to you. You don't know how to feel. Caught in the middle to be free. And ungiven to doing things in rash, unsubtle ways. Well, I can't help the way I am. I won't act in other people's place. I see no harm in having fun, enough to cheer the world. It's those evil ones who put us down. They're really so upset. Too real to be ethereal, too ethereal to be real. I don't know what I'm supposed to be to you. You don't know how to feel. Caught in the middle to be free. To be free. To be free. Wrote this story too long ago. It's all over now. I should have known right back when I met you. It wouldn't be too easy just to let you go. I know I confused us both for the things I had to find. But don't you know that you knew all along? Only you could read my mind. You're real to be ethereal, too ethereal to be real. I don't know what I'm supposed to be. You don't know how to feel. You're caught in the middle to be free. To be free. To be free.
We made it.
I now have a stitch. Move the camera around. So
Wow, that was. I was checking the time. That was near. I'm not sure if that was 30 seconds, 40 seconds, or what. But that was
no,
that was
40.
No.
Let me move this down a bit. That's better. My record to date is 29.05.
Okay.
So,
okay. Good going. Very good.
I'm
Very
not
very
sure
good.
if that's going to be close to that, but
Okay. No, that was good, and well done. We made it. All systems intact.
brilliant.
But,
Brilliant.
but,
That's good to know.
but yeah, I mean, on a PA, I mean, there's overtones, there's harmonics flying around the place. So yeah, it's no wonder. But well done, young sir. So Phil, that's it. Well done, and thank you for being on my third interview of the series.
I've loved it. Thanks. Oh, I should have mentioned just quickly, if no one's seen it yet, just the YouTube video Halloweener.
Yes.
We've only got 65,000 hits at the moment, so a few more would be all very welcome.
Okay, just had a message from Jim Topping, who's watching. He said, "Nice song, Phil." So,
oh, brilliant! It's nice to hear from Jim. Haven't heard from him for so long. Brilliant.
Oh, it's a pity, but don't worry, we'll do this again because there'll be more opportunities, and I definitely want to get you on again for a performance rather than just an interview, just like a little bit more singing rather than talking. But yeah, this has been really good. So thank you very much, and if you can drop the details of your Bandcamp and so on. I'll put it up on the video once it gets uploaded. I mean, it's uploaded now, but I'll just amend it and edit it and then put the rest of the information on so that people can go and hear your wonderful works and look out for where they can possibly hear you live again at one of these open mics, or even your own open mic.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure that
the Open Mic Fraternity is on every well, it's alternate Mondays and Tuesdays, so it's every week.
Good.
It's jumping a little bit around Christmas. We're doing a Christmas special on 28th, and then we'll do one on Monday the 4th of January, and then it carries on from there.
Good.
So, or no, Tuesday the 5th. Right. January's Tuesday the 5th, not Monday the 4th. Sorry. Okay. I mixed up my Monday and Tuesday.
All right. Well, thanks again, Phil. Been a pleasure, and again, we'll definitely see you soon in another interview where you do more performing, etc. But anyway, all the best, and I look forward to taking part in your open mic as soon as I can. I
very much hope you can. Look forward to seeing you there. Thanks, Ev.
All right, you take care. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye. Well, that's it, and see you again for another Music Matters with Ev interview soon. Phil Garvey there. Thank you. Bye.